Alaikum wa rahmatullah. Now, I've been meaning to do this for nearly a month now, and I still haven't got around to doing it, which is to sow my seeds for my onions, my aubergines, and my chilies, and some of the flowers that I've got as well. I still haven't been able to do it, so now that the kids have gone to bed, except the little one here, so except him, the other two have gone to bed. I'm finally going to get a chance to do it before I hit the sack as well. So watch me do this. What I'm going to use for my soil mix is, if you come over here this way, I'll show you what I've got. That's sifted garden compost. What I've got in here are some worm castings. So I'll sift that through as well. So these are my own composted wood chips, but these aren't just normally the normal compost. These have been composted using worms, and they've been slowly composted over the course of a couple of years. So I treat these like gold dust. They're very precious. That's the big stuff that's left. What I'll do with that is it can go back on another compost pile, and that can compost down some more. This tote has been sat inside the house for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, so it'll hopefully be a bit warmer than the soil that's outside. The other stuff that I'm going to add is some shop-bought compost, some just ordinary peat-free multi-purpose compost, but what I will do is I will sift it just to make sure I can get all the big lumpy bits out. Because the last thing you want when you're planting seeds is big lumpy bits that block the seeds coming up. Now, just for comparison, if you compare the earlier sift of my own homemade compost to the shop-bought compost, look at all these lumpy bits that are still in here. There's still twigs that are not broken down at all. There's roots that you can still see in here. There's bits of moss that you can still see in here. Leaves, they just haven't broken down. So always, if you can, your homemade compost is going to be much better than the shop bought stuff. The only reason that I'm using the shop bought stuff is to really it's really a bulking agent more than anything else. My compost is really rich. It's got a lot of chicken manure in it. It's got a lot of worm castings in it, so it's quite rich. I'm using this shop-bought compost in a way to dilute the richness of my compost. But in addition to that, the reason I say it's a bulking agent more than anything else is because I just haven't got enough of my really fine compost. Because I use it so much as a mulch. I've probably got one big old dustbin full of my stuff, and I'll be needing that throughout this season. Now, the other thing that I'm going to add to this mix is just some sharp sand. I'm just sifting this because it's been sat in the garden for a while. It's got leaves in it. It's got some quite big lumps in it, some quite big stones. Shop bought stuff just hasn't got the quality of the stuff that you can make it for the money that you're paying for it. The only time I do buy shop bought compost is when I am starting out with my seeds, and it's simply because my finished stuff, I need the amount of finished stuff, the amount of really fine stuff that I make, I just need to stretch it out that little bit longer. So I'll buy 2 bags of shop bought compost, and that'll be it. That'll be my lot for the year, and the rest of it I'll make at home. If you didn't have any homemade compost and you were just using shop bought compost, then if you try to use an organic peat free compost, just save the environment a little bit. But the peat-free compost is pretty much just wood chips. The nutrition value will be great to start off with, but very quickly it will flag. So we just cut that in, give it a good mix, make sure we've got a good even mix of sharp sand. The reason that I'm adding the sharp sand is to aid draining. That's a good potting mix now. And because it's been in the house for a few weeks as well, it's got to a temperature now where if I plant seeds into it, they will germinate quite quickly. So I'll leave it there and I'll show you in my next video how I plant my seeds. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.